All right, so you've been around Japan for like a few days now. You said you've tried the different sandwiches that Hassan's bought. Have you tried a lot more konbini food as well?
So we were talking about this last night a little bit. You told us that the one we liked the most was the worst.
Okay, what do you think is the best food? Go on, say it. I want you to say it.
Like in just in like the type of food or like the...
Sure. In terms of like...
I like the sandwiches a lot.
Okay.
Especially because you can just save them. Like I feel like you can throw them in the fridge and they're still good.
Yeah.
And they're so inexpensive. Everything here is crazily inexpensive. I feel like, I think most of the sandwiches, including conversion, is like $2 or something.
Yeah.
Which is...
less than, I think.
Yeah, like you can't get anything for that's not even a McChicken, and McChickens aren't that good. I'm never getting sponsored by it. Cut that out. They're pretty good, but they're like where I live, it's like still like $3 or so.
Have you always been on like West Coast America? Like
I pretty much lived in California like my whole life.
Oh, right. So you've been used to high prices your entire life.
Yeah.
Do you not miss the crust of your sandwiches?
Not really.
Fuck, I miss the crusts.
Yeah.
Connor doesn't like the bread.
What? I like the bread.
Wait. I remember you mentioned it wasn't like...
Japanese bread sucks compared to like European bread. It's so bad. But then below Japanese bread is American bread, which is like the worst.
What exactly is American bread?
Yo, Wonder Bread is ass, bro.
Is that what American bread?
Yeah, that's American bread.
I've actually never had that before, so...
What?
I don't know.
How have I had it?
Does anyone go to the store and buy Wonder Bread? Does that?
Well, I mean, the fact that they're still selling it, I assume so.
Yeah.
But like
Somebody
just the general
probably does.
on-the-shelf bread that you get in America is pretty bad.
Yeah, like the supermarket kind of bread.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I was staying in Wisconsin for like 2 months or something. And I remember buying a loaf of bread there. And in England, I'm used to, you buy a loaf of bread and you either finish it in a week. And if it's
that's too long.
Yeah. I was like, you either finish it in a week.
That's the absolute max.
Yeah, that's like the
pushing it.
max, right? You have to finish it within a week or you're going to get mold in it. And I remember I'd forgotten I'd bought this bread and I looked at it 2 weeks later, clean, nothing. And Sydney was like, oh yeah, that's still like totally fine. Don't worry about it. Totally fine. It's like 3 weeks to a month or something and you can still eat it.
What the fuck?
That's insane. Meanwhile, in Japan, it's like you buy a loaf of bread, it's like, eat it within the next 20 minutes or it's going to go bad.
Oh, man.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a charity. We did a charity stream. We were doing a week-long charity event. One of them was where we could buy a lot of stuff from small businesses and shout out to small business if it's good.
Right.
There's one where it was jam. Eat jam with bread, right?
Right.
We had bread that was, I think, a month past the best by date, and we just ate it anyway.
Oh my God.
It's pretty fine true in America, right? So it's pretty
We
chill.
didn't get sick, so...
It's all that benzaldehyde in that shit.
Have you seen that video where it's some guy took an extended shot of McDonald's and he left it out, and then the fries were just like indestructible.
Oh yeah, they were
a year
immune.
later.
Yeah, they were just immune.
Yeah, they just like a year later they looked exactly the same, and I'm like,
God.
I had a feeling something like this would happen, but seeing it just right in front of my face,
It's probably because of all the oil they use. It's just like mummified the fries.
yeah, right?
There's got to be some more than oil. There's
Honestly,
a little more than oil, sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oil alone can't do that.
Yeah,
I would
That's
imagine
immortality.
Otherwise, we
Scary.
just like soak ourselves in McDonald's oil and just find the secret to immortality.
Anti-aging. Just McDonald's oil.
The ancient Egyptians could have learned from McDonald's or something.
Yeah, it's just like, there's people in Japan that just live to like 110 or something.
Yeah.
You're like, what's your secret? And it's just
It's like, I stay up late to get the oil from the McDonald's.
I eat McDonald's every day of my life. That's my secret.
Jesus.
That could be it, maybe.
Yeah. What's like so since this is your first time out of the US, what's been your first experiences of just like another culture?
It's cleaner and safer is the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Like there's like, they just leave their bikes around.
Yeah.
Free bikes. It's crazy because in LA, right? If you leave your bike, even if you lock it, like you can lock your bike to a post.
Right.
And if it's not a good enough lock, or even if it is, and it's a nice bike, it'll be gone in like 5 minutes usually.
London's
like
kind of the same.
Yeah.
I know that you always walk past bikes where the chain is still on, but both wheels are gone.
Yeah.
Oh, that happens often, yeah.
And it's like, God damn.
I think though, in the case of Japan, the reason why, I mean, it's mostly also just the fact that people just aren't willing to steal shit in general. But I think in case with bikes, the reason why people aren't just going around breaking locks is because like most people have their own bikes.
And also a lot of the bikes are very
people
inexpensive.
steal it to sell it, I think. in the States.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
They steal, if you see $1,000 bike just sitting there, that's a free $1,000.
Okay, never mind.
And,
I can't defend it.
But also
Yeah,
in
no,
Japan,
they-
like a
they
lot of
don't
the
even lock it.
yeah, a lot of the
just
bikes
there.
are like $100.
Yeah.
They're very
Yeah.
cheap bikes.
If that.
And it's
Yeah.
like, is it really worth potentially going to prison for stealing a tire from a $100 bike?
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I have an expensive bike, and I've left it
Wait,
unlocked.
will the
in places.
police actually try and hunt someone down here? Like, 'cause I feel like in the States, you can get robbed, call the police, and they'll be like, we'll think about helping you at some point.
It has to be really
Depending on-
valuable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's really valuable, I'm not. I don't know if we should talk. Some of our friends' cars got stolen.
Oh yeah, well I saw Ludwig's one.
Yeah,
got
Ludwig's
stolen.
got stolen.
And then
I believe Myth's
Myth-
got stolen
yeah.
too. I don't think the police did much more.
Yeah, Ludwig on his video said that he called the police and they were like, "Oh no, that department isn't working today."
Yeah, they just don't care. You can literally. I think Myth's cars. He has a pretty expensive car. I don't know the exact price.
Yeah.
but
Right.
They just don't care. They'll be like, "Oh, your car's stolen. We'll think about it," and they'll just hang up or something.
Well, didn't he have to track it himself or something? Because I saw he
Yeah,
put out
he
a tweet
ended up
being
just-
like,
Yeah.
if anyone has seen this car,
Yeah.
please, please let us know. Don't let the police know. Just let us know.
So what had happened, from what I heard, was he actually found the car himself.
yeah.
And instead of just trying to steal it back, he was like, "I'm gonna call the police and they'll handle it."
Yeah.
So he called the police and was like, "Hey, my car was stolen. I guess I found it. Can you help me get it back?" And
Yeah.
they just never showed up, I guess, and he just took it back himself. Is the story I heard?
Oh my God.
So I was like, "Yeah, I feel like I don't know if you told me they would try and catch a guy for stealing a bike, I'd be
Yeah.
like, nah, there's no way, right?"
But
There's no way.
but like, if you think about it, is it considered stealing if you're just taking back something that someone stole from you?
Oh no, I meant like the
The guy who stole
Guys-
it.
the guys.
I guess it's also dangerous as well
Yeah.
in
That's
the US,
true.
bro. I'm
Yeah.
not. Guys
Yeah.
want to steal a car, bro. Who knows what other crimes he's willing
That's
to commit?
true. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. In Japan, a lot of the
they don't have guns here.
there's no
Yeah.
guns. Yeah. Well, you can get guns, but you have to. It's like hunting guns, and you've
Yeah,
to go through
it's
an
not
extremely long process, and it's
you
like
gotta get a license for it.
it takes a while. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
I mean, the police in Japan don't have a lot going on, and they have a lot of police.
Yeah.
A lot for like how much they need to do.
Yeah.
Because the government likes giving jobs to people, and so they're just like, you just become a policeman. So they have like tiers of policemen on like how useful they are.
Yeah.
That whole thing though about like the department being unavailable is
That's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Could you
that
imagine
it
if you like
happens.
broke your arm and you like called up a hospital and you're like, "Oh, sorry, the doctor's just not into
Well, I
it."
think
Yeah,
it's like
just like,
specifically
"Oh,
police, right? I think
Yeah.
because the police are like, it's not. I know, like during the pandemic, they were like, if the item stolen is below this amount, the police won't show up.
Yeah.
Like if it was under $1,000, the police won't show up.
That's crazy.
Because it's not worth the time to send the
Yeah,
police.
it's like the opposite in Japan, where police look for any excuse to do something, even if it's like the most minor misdemeanor or something like
Yeah.
that. They'll like the entire army will show
Well,
up.
even
I
if
swear.
Well,
it's
they
like-
spawn. They spawn like in Cyberpunk. Oh
my God,
like if you're
Yeah,
doing
max
something,
tack or something.
yeah. Like if you were like you're having a bad interaction with a cop, within 5 minutes there'll be 20 more to turn up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, you trip over the wrong guy and then you immediately get 5 stars in GTA.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of how it is. Yeah, I remember one time Connor like pressed the wrong button on his intercom, which he didn't know at the time was a security button that you press in case something was
Right.
happening.
I was worried you pressed it when you guys were messing with the AC at your Airbnb.
Oh wait, yeah, there was a button where I was like, I was trying to turn the lights on and off, and like there are all the buttons are labeled. Some of them actually have English. A lot
Yeah.
of them just have like the letter, or I don't know what it's called, like it can't
a
something.
kanji.
characters,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know what this means. Trying to figure out which one turns on which light, and I'm like, oh, this one doesn't do anything. I pushed it a few times, and I'm like, maybe I should stop pushing it. no police showed up. Still don't know what the button does, but it did something.
Yeah, I remember we were around Connor's place the other day, and I think he had a few people over, and Rob CD was there.
Yeah.
and Connor and someone called the intercom, and Connor was like, "Oh, can someone like get that, please?" And Rob presses a button, and he was like, "I don't know what button I just pressed." He takes his finger off, and we realize it's the security button. And we were like, Connor, get here now. Otherwise, 10 policemen are about to come here.
my God.
And then they
They'll think you're breaking in. They'll be
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
well, yeah, they call you back and they're like, "Was that an accident?" And you're like, "Yes." They're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Say it as panicked as possible. You're like, yes, yes, it was an
Yeah,
accident.
most apartments have this, and you pay monthly for it.
yeah.
You don't even get a choice. Like, I can't be like, "No, I don't want it." Like they
Oh, okay.
force you to pay for it.
Right.
And yeah, but essentially it's like a private army that will show up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sekomo, I think it's called.
Yeah. They're like it's like one company that runs
Yeah.
it all in Japan.
Home
Yeah,
security
yeah.
company. Yeah.
Oh, is it a private company?
Private, yeah.
company.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, and they're scary. I pressed it also my like first few weeks in Japan. I pressed it at someone else's house, and
oh my! Now I'm just gonna be afraid to push any button.
okay. So
if I go to anyone's house, I'll be like, "Could you turn the lights
okay.
on for me? I don't want to."
So here's the trick. It'll be red. No other button should be red. And if it is, they're absolutely trolling you, and it's not your fault.
Oh, like the huge button itself.
No, the kanji will be red. Everything else should be
okay.
black or another color, but the kanji one will be red.
Yeah.
And it's normally like it should be pretty small, but for some reason in this apartment it was huge. And it was dead center. And so the thing started ringing and they weren't there, and I pressed it. And then I think they called them, but they missed it. And I was just waiting for them to come back, and I'm just chilling in their living room.
That's scary.
And then I start seeing like flashing lights outside. I thought, oh, well, you know, it's some idiot. It's got a police called on them.
Yeah.
But the idiot was you.
And then my friend came back and they got a phone call, and they were like, why do I have 8 missed calls? I was like, I don't know. I was watching like Japanese MasterChef or something.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Playing TFT.
Yeah, I'm playing TFT. I'm playing TFT. And then they get another call and they start freaking out. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? And they look out the window and they're like, oh my God. I'm like, what? And they're like
8 police cars.
they're like, yeah, all these police cars are here for us. And I was like, what?
Oh God.
Why? It's like,
Because none of the calls were picked up. They're like, this guy's being
yeah,
killed.
because no one had picked up the calls. So if you do press it, not the end of the world. Just make sure whoever's there answers the
there.
thing.
Yeah.
And explains. And then like a whole dude, it was like a comedy skit. Slowly, they knock on the door and open it up, and slowly opening up this door, and this tiny Japanese like apartment foyer area where like, because you know like the room between apartments is tiny.
Yeah.
You open it up and there's like 8 dudes in full like SWAT armor.
Oh God.
Who are just there, and then there's just like in like a like a movie. There's this tiny dude comes around the corner, like 4 foot, whips out a notebook, and is like, well.
Oh God.
What we got here then, huh? Gaijin, I see.
Oh no.
Foreigner, huh? Don't need his details.
Yeah.
Grilled me, took all my information, asked me about all my employment and everything for like an hour, and then they finally left me alone. Even though my friend was like, no, just chill. And I was like, what the fuck?
That does not sound
Yeah.
So that's where I learned the kanji for, well, I don't know what it means, but I know not to press that kanji.
Don't press.
What does the kanji say?
I don't know. It depends.
It's the same kanji everywhere.
maybe kinkyu, maybe, which is like emergency.
Yeah, it might be kinkyu.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like. If you told me, I'm like, don't press that kanji.
So I just won't turn any lights on in anyone's house.
Just
when
be
I go
careful
there?
what you're-
Usually
It's-
the light switches are like white.
Yeah, it's
know.
it's
I
on
at
the
least get it
intercom.
back.
Yeah, don't touch the intercom.
I won't touch anything.
Don't touch the intercom.
I'll be like, is this the one? Could you turn the light on, please? I need to go to the bath. I think when I first walked in, I didn't turn the light on. That was on purpose.
Right.
I'm just kidding. I couldn't find the light switch. If it was outside, I'm used to the light switch being in the
bathroom.
Isn't that kind of a weird? What if I'm in the bathroom up there, and you're just like, I'm gonna play a prank on this guy, and you just turn the light
That's
off.
fun.
Oh,
Hotel
yeah.
rules.
I can't see anything. I'll be like,
Well, you got to poop in the
miss?
dark.